Wrestlepalooza 2025 has wrapped up, and man, what a roller coaster! This was WWE's big debut on ESPN's streaming platform, hyped up as a game changer. Instead, we got a night of peaks and valleys, where some matches had me leaning forward in my chair, and others had me checking my phone wondering if DoorDash closed early. Let's break it all down. And hey, if you're here for honest wrestling talk with a bit of sarcasm, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got a lot to unpack. So let's talk about this opener, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. This is one of those matchups that should feel massive every time, right? Two legends colliding, the kind of thing you save for the end of a pay-per-view. Instead, WWE threw it on first, like it was the kickoff show. And honestly, maybe that was a mercy. Cena came out, hyped up, kids in the crowd losing their minds, and then Brock Lesnar just steamrolled him. Suplex City, population, Cena. We're talking 7 F5s, a bunch of suplexes, the kind of match where you could go make a sandwich and not miss much. The crowd went dead silent, and I don't blame them. This wasn't a clash of titans. It was a rerun of SummerSlam 2014, only with less shock value. If this is how WWE wants to use Cena during his final run, yikes. Imagine paying extra for ESPN's service, and the first thing you get is John Cena being used as Lesnar's crash test dummy. Not the hot start you want. Thankfully, things picked up with the Usos taking on the Vision, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. And look, this wasn't a classic tag team clinic, but it was the chaotic brawl the show desperately needed. Chairs, kendo sticks, tables. It felt like the Usos were trying to remind everyone that tag wrestling can be fun when it's allowed to get messy. The highlight? Both Usos getting speared through a table at the exact same time. A perfect oof moment. And then Bronson Reed climbing up and squashing Jay with that tsunami splash. The Vision needed this win badly, and they looked like absolute monsters pulling it off. Meanwhile, the Usos once again showed why they're one of the best tag teams of all time, even in defeat. Though honestly, with how often they're eating losses lately, I'm starting to think their last name might secretly be Enhancement. But then came the gem of the night. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir for the Women's World title. I'll say it right now, this match alone made sitting through the rest of Wrestlepalooza worth it. From bell to bell, it was crisp, it was physical, it was storytelling at its finest. Io worked her aerial game, Vakir zeroed in on the knee, and it all built to that brilliant finish where Io's leg finally gave out. Vakir climbing the ropes and hitting that spiral tap to seal the deal. It was beautiful. No run-ins, no distractions, no weird finishes, just two women putting on a wrestling clinic. This was the kind of match where even the dead parts of the crowd woke up and started caring. Stephanie Vakir walking out as champion felt earned, and Io still looked like a star even in defeat. Honestly, WWE should be showing replays of this match on every Raw and SmackDown for the next month, just to remind people they're capable of doing this. And just when I thought the show couldn't top that, we got the mixed tag, Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus CM Punk and AJ Lee. Now this was drama. This was storytelling. Punk playing the beaten-down partner, crawling for that hot tag to AJ, while Rollins and Becky cut him off again and again. The crowd was losing their minds every time Punk stretched his hand out, only for Becky to yank AJ off the apron or Seth to knock Punk back. It was frustrating in the best way. When AJ finally tagged in, the place erupted. She came in like she never missed a beat. Fast, sharp, and with that same swagger she had years ago. Chaos broke out. Bodies flying everywhere, tables breaking, and then the finish. AJ locking Becky in the Black Widow and making her tap out. I don't care what else happened on this card, that was the pop of the night. Becky Lynch tapping to AJ Lee sets up a singles feud that honestly feels bigger than most of the men's storylines right now. And side note, Punk and Rollins are obviously going to keep this thing going. But the real money here is AJ versus Becky. That's a feud I'd pay to see headline a pay-per-view by itself. And then we got to the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE title. On paper, this should have felt like the culmination of the night. Instead, it just sort of happened. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. Both guys are solid workers. They told a clean story. Drew injured his leg going through the announce table. Cody capitalized, hit his big moves, and won. It was fine. But after the emotional highs of AJ Lee's return and Vakir's title win, this just didn't have the juice to close out a hyped show like Wrestlepalooza. If anything, it felt like a really good Raw main event. Not the final chapter of a pay-per-view WWE hyped as groundbreaking. No surprises, no shocks, no run-ins. Just Cody walking out still champ. Safe booking at its safest. And in wrestling, safe doesn't always mean satisfying. So here's the bottom line. Wrestlepalooza 2025 was a mixed bag. The women stole the show, no question. Io versus Vakir was phenomenal. AJ versus Becky set up something fresh and exciting. And the Usos gave us a fun brawl with Breakker and Reed. But Brock and Cena? Dead on arrival. Cody and Drew? Decent, but not the exclamation point this show needed. If Wrestlepalooza was supposed to be WWE's big statement on ESPN, the statement ended up being, "We'll try again next month." Overall, I'm giving it a C. And if I'm being generous, a C+ because of how damn good that women's title match was. But that's just me. What about you? If you had to give Wrestlepalooza a grade, A, B, C, or lower, what's it getting from you? Drop your score in the comments. I want to see if the crowd agrees with me or if I'm way off. Until then, that's Wrestlepalooza 2025 in the books. Some highs, plenty of lows, and a whole lot of what-ifs. Here's hoping Crown Jewel picks up the slack. Till next time.